What's up, ladies and gentlemen? BC, welcome back. We're back on the Brian Casella Show. I want to give you guys some conversation social tips, right? This might not fall into the sales and real estate and mindset category, so I'm putting it on this channel, but we're going to get back to talking on my different channels about different subjects because this type of stuff is important, okay? So most recently, right, I went to the gym. I go with my trainer, Brian. Shout out to him. He's been helping me with calisthenics, turned into a beast. So I've really helped him develop socially. Now, one of the things that we do is when I go out, I'm always looking to meet people. Men or women, doesn't matter. We'll talk about women today a little bit and the whole social aspect, like outside and how to meet women during the day, right? Because I know everyone's interested in that, right? But this applies across the board, okay? So with him, when we go out, not only do I want to meet people, I want to help him get more clientele. We started shooting videos with girls, you know, doing calisthenics workouts with us too, because I know from a marketing standpoint, that's going to sell for him and help him in his business, right? It helps his image, right? Whenever you're surrounded by beautiful women, it helps you regardless of what people think about it. It works, right? Because it signals to people subliminally and subconsciously something that if you don't have it, that's missing, right? So I'll give you guys an example of something that I do. One thing that I do to open up conversations organically is if I have an organic thought in my mind, like let's say I look at somebody, a man or a woman, and a thought pops in my head or a question pops up of what I would want to ask them, I usually open a conversation with that. So most recently, I think this was last week, we go to the gym, right? Local LA Fitness here in Miami. There's a beautiful woman that walks in and we noticed her right away. I don't think I've seen her, but I told them, I was like, you know what, dude? I'm going to talk to her. Watch. I'm going to say XYZ, right? So a thought popped into my mind when I looked at her. I thought volleyball player for whatever reason, right? So probably 20, 30 minutes later, when we're in the same station as her, like close to her, you know, she's kneeled down. She finished her set. I look at her. I get her attention. She looks at me. I signal like this, which is a compliance test, like basically take off your earbud. She does it, right? And I ask her, hey, random question. Are you a volleyball player? You give me that vibe. And as I say that, I roll off to not keep all the pressure on her to go back to my station while I'm still looking at her, but putting most of my attention on moving the weights, right? She says no, pauses for a second, right? Because she said no right when I turned to go back to my station. And that roll off is what gave her the comfort to open up. And then she just started talking. Well, and she went off for like a minute or two and we started talking and then I ended it. She said bye, whatever, right? That roll off was key, but again, the whole premise of this is I had an organic thought and I said, you know what, I'm going to throw it out there. That's it. I didn't come in with some crazy thing. Like I'm comfortable enough now to where I can do that. And I'm not so nervous and that I give off bad vibes, right? Because the counter argument I get from people is, well, Brian, you're a good looking cat. Of course, people are going to talk to you. Well, what do you want me to do, bro? You want me to wear a fucking ugly mask and dress up in a stupid, ugly suit or something, right? But I can tell you when it comes to interacting, especially with women, it doesn't matter how you look as a dude. Can it help you? Sure. But you don't need to be a fucking model or Brad Pitt to get girls. It's the conversational aspect of it. And that's what I want you guys to get here is it was comfortable. It wasn't seeking rapport. I wasn't hitting on her, right? And I just asked her a question, right? But all the little pieces, that's an organic thought that I threw out. Throwing the question and then rolling off and not keeping all the pressure on her by facing her and like, you know, being like that, but just making it casual, open, not seeking rapport, not too much pressure, just here, throwing something, let's talk, right? When we keep it lighthearted like that in the beginning, it's very easy for people to hook into a conversation and then you can keep it going, okay? But that's an example, right? I've done others where we're at the gym, like Fifi, right? A girl that we met, she's a big type of like Instagrammer, right? But we were doing calisthenics and she was probably 10 feet away from us. And we noticed that she was doing calisthenics too. So I just looked over. I was like, hey, stop copying us. And then I looked away and continued the conversation. And she comes over to us and starts talking to us. Now, that was just a thought that I had, but it was funny. Hey, stop copying us. And then I continued talking to my friend and she came over. We talked for a minute or two about working out. I say, you know what? He's my trainer. Get his Instagram. This is weeks ago, right? This is another example. And he got her Instagram. I didn't get it. I didn't care. I get it later. She ended up following me later. It's besides the point. But little stuff like that is what you need to do to start meeting people, especially girls. It's lighthearted, it's fun, it's easy, but it's very simple way to start meeting people. And again, because I'm rolling off and I'm just throwing little things, if they don't respond, that's okay because that happens. But what if they don't respond, Brian? That's okay. You didn't lose anything. You just threw it and then you came back and you were talking anyway. You lose if you talk or walk over there and you stand there and then you get rejected. That's when you lose from a social standpoint. But even then, I would rather you do that and fail than not do it at all. But when you throw things like that and you roll off and you keep doing what you're doing and it's not a big deal, which is what that's signaling subconsciously, it doesn't matter. You don't lose value. They won't hook. Who cares? Then go to the next and the next and the next. But the thing is you got to be out there doing these things, living life, talking, connecting, and throwing bait at people to talk to you. If you're not doing it, you're going to be alone. You're going to be miserable. You're not going to have any friends. You need to create this. Your communication has to be a creation. Okay, cool. We'll keep it simple here, guys. Make sure you subscribe and tune in. We're going to be back on this channel. All right, we'll see you.